with.
A very good idea. Boop. Good evening and welcome everybody to the Dire Bear Adventuring Company. We are back with episode 9 of The Stolen Cities, and my first time streaming this, actually. I was supposed to about 4 sessions ago, but we ran into some issues, and luckily our great and glorious leader over here decided to show up in the nick of time, just on my left, and really saved the stream there. Yeah, Maddie? Yeah, Maddie? Uh-huh. Either way.
Also, my official title is production manager.
Details, who needs them?
Glorious leader. It's not North Korea, I promise.
But I'm not the glorious. No, that's Heath.
You can both be glorious.
We'll work out
lead.
the details later. We'll cross that bridge. We won't cross that bridge. It's full of vampires. Previously on the Stolen Cities, the bridge is full of vampires. We're not crossing that bridge when we get to it. In any case, real shit. Previously on the Stolen Cities, our fledgling adventurers figured out Alzen's plan for the town of Madangard. He is enlisting pretty much the entire civilian population to dig out this ancient tunnel leading off of the island and to the Glass Tower, a mysterious vampire stronghold ever present on the skyline, and the home of a mysterious entity known to the party as Vestige. They decided to confront the only other way they know out of the tower, a bridge with a secondary tunnel beneath it, where they met another vampire by the name of Lex. Lex explained that Alzen's intent for this plan may not be to feed the town of Madangard to the vampires, as the party may have assumed, but rather to destroy the Glass Tower entirely. He explained to the party that Alzen is another ancient vampire, much like one that led the siege of this place so many centuries ago, but cast out by the aristocracy, if you like, and quite scorned by them. And he wishes to use his now accrued resources and manpower to lay siege to the Glass Tower. Lex, trusting you, has given the party use of the tunnel under the bridge, which will let you out just outside the Glass Tower. It takes you a couple of hours to make this walk. It is a very long tunnel, spanning not as long of a straight-up distance. It's only about 4 or 5 miles. However, there are some partially collapsed bits of it, and areas that you need to avoid. However, after about 4 hours or so, you end up making your way out of this tunnel. And it looks significantly more pristine and well kept on this end than it does at the end you went in. The stone and tile seem to be perfectly polished and smooth, as though untouched by the passage of time. There are very sleek metal handrails adorning stairs, and lots of old artwork that some of you have seen before, but only in books or told about in whispers. Many old signs seeming to denote streets and other areas seem to adorn different pathways out of this sort of common area. And this would be quite the sight to take in if it were not positively packed with vampires. There are vampires all over this place. However, they don't seem to be in the very militaristic and serious-minded position that you guys found the vampires you went in to see. They seem rather casual, almost. They're wearing very casual, non-combative clothing. You see very few of them wearing any sort of armor or brandishing weapons of any kind. They seem to just sort of be going about their business, whatever business it is that these vampires get up to on this side. However, your presence, the presence of the alive, I can't even say humans because 2 of you are elves and 1 of you is a fishman, immediately sort of unnerves them. You may all make me an insight check.
That is a nat 20.
Hey.
That's a great way to start the night off, Lucas.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Absolutely. Things you love to see, that.
I rolled a 14.
16.
You cut off there, Tim. What was that?
I've got a 20.
Wonderful. You guys are not stupid. Well, you're not inattentive. So it becomes very obvious that these vampires are very used to the not alive exiting through this area. Especially given the fact that tunnel you guys just came from is supposed to be guarded by a bunch of vampires armed to the teeth. So them seeing you come out of here is a bit disturbing. Some of them kind of like stop and stare at you, kind of unsure what to do. Some of them start walking away hurriedly, as though maybe not necessarily scared, but not wanting to see what happens next of you guys coming in here. And the few vampires that are armored or do have any sort of weaponry start to sort of walk forward slowly in front of the general populace.
Do we have like some kind of like token that Lex gave us, right? To not immediately get mauled by a apparent town of vampires at the other end of the tunnel?
Yep.
What do we got?
A vial of vampire blood.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed. Venlin, you step forward and raise the vial, brandishing it before the vampires. They kind of take a back step as you lift up your arm, not sure what it is you're about to pull out. But the moment that they see what it is, and specifically the container that holds it, the guards begin to sort of calm. And seeing them calm and stow their weapons causes the civilians to also get pretty calm and start going back to going about their business once they realize that a fight's not about to break out here. I didn't know Lex had so many of the living working with him.
It's momentarium alliance of necessity.
Okay. Who are you people?
We're here to warn you.
Of.
Alson.
Alson. And how would you come to know that name? It is an ancient name, far older than any of your kind.
Does the name Valerie ring a bell?
He kind of looks over to his fellow guardsman, who kind of shrugs slightly.
They should, though. That's because that's the name she gives whenever she deals with vampire hunting.
The events of the Barren Isle do not give us much cause for concern. Whatever thralls or fledgling vampires you may have formed a rapport, positive or negative, with, are not really my concern, to be honest with you. My concern is threats from your area.
Sure. So you can either believe us or don't, and then Alton comes through and either charms all of you to doing what he wants, or he kills you outright because you refuse to listen to him. Your choice.
If Alzan is indeed coming, then I assume he plans on taking the southern tunnel.
That's the one that comes from Madengard, right?
Yes.
Yes. That is the direction that he is coming from.
We've
And
sensed
sooner than you think.
We've had no seismic disturbances recently, but I'll dispatch some guards.
You wouldn't. He's using druids.
Believe me, our technology and our ways of doing things are quite a ways detached from what meager apparatus you have on your isle. If there was such a disturbance caused by druids moving the earth, we'd have felt it, or sensed it from here. However, that must mean that he hasn't gone through that much yet. It's accurate to about 3 miles, which means he can't be more than halfway through.
So you say.
The rest of the guards kind of look a bit confused at their captain, as though, why the fuck are you taking orders from this woman? You could probably snap her neck like a small twig. Why are you, listening to this woman and doing things based on her hearsay?
I kind of give them the suggesting look, like it's not a command. It's a suggestion that benefits everybody. It's like,
And he's very much giving them the look of, you're not paid to think.
You're not paid to ask questions.
Just,
I love that look.
There's a reason why I'm in my position and you're in your position.
oh God.
That's a military line, too. Son, you are not paid to think.
Long as you hold that vial, no harm should come to you here. Though, I would advise you, he kind of waves his hand nonchalantly at Cross, Ralakan, and Jason, not stray too far from your compatriot here.
Understood.
I thought Jason was in
Briefcase. My bad.
yeah, it was backpack mode on Cross.
Yes. Beep boop.
Wonderful. So he can't immediately notice Jason.
Yeah, we agreed on that because the vampires were looking for Jason, and until we
We wanted to
find
be
out
safe.
why they want Jason, we're not going to let them have him.
I mean, we're not gonna let him have. We're not gonna let them have
I
him
mean,
anyway.
not have him, period, but like until we know why they want him, we don't want them seeing him.
Oh. For the time being, I guess the only thing I can say is welcome to City Square. You can head up those stairs there to go outside. There's, the other tunnel is a few miles south of here. Even if he makes it out, it's going to be quite the trek through a lot of heavily occupied territory before he ever reached here. What would you deign to do here? He kind of just like he's seeing you make these expressions as though, is he hearing a fucking word I'm saying? And he's like, what would you have us do?
You could clear out and let us handle him.
You expect us to clear the defenses of a highly fortified tunnel and just leave you to it?
No, I expect you to clear this particular area at the entrance of said tunnel. And stand back in reserve on the off and rare chance that we don't actually succeed. We killed his mate. Do you think he's going to be any more difficult?
You killed Cassidy.
We did.
And you're alive. You've got all your limbs. and everything.
Clearly.
Ral just starts patting himself down. It's like, I think I've got all my organs. Cross, have you seen my kidney?
Not to downplay anything, but I'm pretty sure I killed Cassidy.
He looks at you and can immediately see that you're blind, and is just like,
Look, either way, she's dead.
Again, I guess?
Permanently, this time.
Listen, I understand that it's very hard to believe anything but that we could say. But he's taken control of an entire city, and they're trying to make their way here.
he kind of like, not laughs, but kind of scoffs a little bit at your mention of a city. He goes, boy, with all due respect, you haven't seen a city. But regardless, I understand the threat. I'll organize an evacuation of civilians from the area.
I know this is a very serious situation, but this is out of character.
Yes.
I really want to yell, he don't see anything!
Cross
And
was
just
actually
wave my fins in front of his face.
Cross was about to like blurt out and say that, but at this point, that's not going to help the situation. This is not
We
the time.
appreciate the accommodation. Captain, was it?
Yes, it's my title, unfortunately.
you would be Captain...
Captain Laurent. Christian Laurent.
Well, nice
Captain
to meet
Laurent?
you.
Go ahead, Spaz.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Laurent.
And you. He kind of nods gently. Do try not to get yourselves bitten or beheaded or anything else on your way. Will you be headed south to face him, or will you be fortifying defenses here?
If it would be permissible, we'd like to observe the defenses here, and then perhaps make our decision after.
Understood. And he kind of waves to his guards, and they immediately take off in 3 different directions. With me, if you would.
Benelin is going to be a step behind.
I actually need to look something up a tad quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, he needs to look things up. We're doomed.
No need to be nervous.
It's like every time I play Magic the Gathering, it's just, oh no, he's playing a card, my one weakness.
Captain Laurent takes you guys up a gently curving staircase leading outside, and the cloud cover, while not gone, seems significantly less thick here. It seems just thick enough that the sunlight doesn't seem to bother the vampires out here, but nowhere near as thick as you're used to seeing it on the island. Here, you can see droves of carriages not pulled by horses or any other means of momentum. You can see various vampires in different forms of attire just seeming to walk around quite casually. And you can see towering structures powered seemingly entirely by electricity. And directly behind the staircase you guys just walked out of is the glass tower. It is enormous. It is far bigger than pretty much anything any of you have ever seen. And it looks exactly as you would have expected it to from afar. It is reflective. It does look as though it is made entirely of glass, though you can't imagine that something this titanically large could be made of such a thing.
What in all tarnation?
You can probably hear the sound of machinery because Jason is like extending one of his little eyes going up
Just
and just taking everything
expand
in.
the eye.
This is City Square, and that is the tower. 40 stories of steel, glass, and vampires who want nothing to do with Alzan Karst.
I'm sorry, did you just say 40 what now?
40 stories. 50 floors in total. 40 times 15. About 600 feet. Sorry. Ooh, hang on. 40 stories. 15 feet. What am I doing?
You're doing math.
You're
That's the
doing
key
math.
component of Dungeons and Dragons.
Ral is just like has tuned out everything though, and is just picturing himself jumping off against the Falcon and just racing it down to the bottom.
673 feet.
Kind of just see Cross just kind of like almost gape. As if he, though he can't see it, he's imagining it. And it's...
Ral is very much in La La Land, hoping, like, just imagining this, the glass tower. This is where he will beat the damn Falcon and prove to the world that Simic Hybrids are superior fishermen.
That's...
He doesn't say it out loud, obviously. He's just that look.
This... Wow. I couldn't even think of something like this would exist.
Our leader lives at the top, and unfortunately, he seems to be the one person we won't be able to evacuate from the premises.
Well, we just need to make sure that fuckface doesn't get here.
When we were on the other end of the tunnel, Lex said that Alzin was trouble in the past.
Yes. When the original siege of the Barren Isle occurred, Alzin was quite the scientist in his day, and had developed, I wouldn't say a weapon, but a tool capable of ending the siege quite quickly. The leader of the siege took this tool and used it to great effect. It worked. It was fully operational, and it successfully ended the siege, leaving the isle a barren wasteland. However, he and Alzin came into tension when it came to the decision of what to do with the remaining humans. Where Alzin wished to turn them by force, the progenitor of the siege maintained that humans had a degree of free will and deserved the choice of whether or not to join the rest of us in immortality. And it was because of this tension that Alzin was cast out.
Could you think of any sort of reason why, after all this time, Alzin is trying to return?
In all likelihood, to get to Vestige, see if he can coerce him into revealing the location of his maker, and destroying everything dear to him, beginning with the glass tower. Personally, I'd almost wish for you to check on him, just to ensure that he hasn't gone mad. He hasn't left the top floor of the building in some time.
Oh.
We could.
It'll take some time for us to mobilize the defenses. The building is already quite heavily fortified, but I can divert some staff from guarding the innards of the building to guarding outside. You start to see different factions of guards beginning to emerge from the building, presumably under his orders from earlier. And they start sort of evacuating people. You can see sort of like non-essential staff being led out of the building and led to these vehicles that still confuse you as to their mechanisms, given that they have seemingly no driving force for momentum, and then immediately begin evacuating the square.
So it's about as strange to us as Ralakan's roll of duct tape?
Yes.
Jason is absolutely just studying any sort of like technology, like electronics, cars, any of that, because it's neat.
You start looking at these things, and the first thing you see are sort of like your brain and the way it processes these mechanisms immediately begins to color code things. And it starts to sort of organize them in order of what would be easiest to assimilate. You know, sort of like take into you and use. And you start to see that there are large sections of heat buildup all over these vehicles, which leads you to believe that they use a fuel source, probably gasoline, not unlike the boats that you guys were using, in order to work.
Now, when
Not saying anything, but he's definitely typing out. Very fascinating.
Now, when you say assimilate,
I don't mean like T-1000. I more mean that he can like take it apart and just kind of
figure out how it works.
okay, yeah,
Yes.
he could
adapt the parts to suit his own body, or adapt parts of his body to use them.
He's not going to be like going like all Transformers scanning a vehicle and then transforming into it.
No. and he's not going to be freaking like Metal Gear Solid nanomachining it either.
Okay.
But he can definitely like take the pieces apart and see what he could attach to himself to use potentially. He definitely can't do the why? No, that's not gonna happen.
Okay.
But you could turn me into a man carriage.
He kind of
Can you never use that word again, please?
he kind of looks at you guys again. He's like, I can't believe I'm about to let you people do this. Yeah. He kind of reaches into a pocket and pulls out what looks kind of like a card of some sort. The card seems to be made of plastic, and it has a large letter V embossed in silver on it. Take that inside. There's an elevator that'll grant you access.
Oh, what now?
There have to be some buildings left on that island.
Not that are more than one story, and even if they are, stairs.
An elevator is a kind of dumbwaiter system, not unlike your standard pulley, except significantly extended to allow for essentially nigh infinite vertical ascent or descent.
Huh.
Essentially, you get in this small carriage thing and it carries you upward. He genuinely has no idea if you people know what an elevator is. So even though you guys know what an elevator is, he's gonna try and, like, explain
No.
it like you're 5.
I mean,
Valakan has never seen an elevator.
Venolin has.
There
Cross
are
doesn't
elevators in the 666 building, which is Venolin's house.
But they were never, like,
Operational.
they were rarely used, and that was only to move heavy pieces of furniture and equipment. Because they use a lot of power. Okay. Okay, perfect. Gentlemen? And she'll reach her hand out to gently just put her hand on across the shoulders so that he is aware that we're moving again.
You guys approach the door to the tower, and it opens by itself at your approach.
At this
I
point,
kind of just, like-
assuming that's magic.
I'm gonna give Venolin the once over. You sure the vampires are the bad guys with fancy stuff like this?
To quote Tyrese Gibson, how come the bad guys always get the cool shit?
Facts! Hold up!
Great facts.
Like, the Transformers franchise didn't give us a lot, but Tyrese Gibson going, how come the bad guys always get the cool shit? High key, big facts.
You want to know how I know? Ralakan?
Yeah.
Because they killed my family.
Ral just, like, stops mid-movement and just, like... Oh.
You didn't know that?
You did?
Well, I kind of assumed since you kept talking about your family in the past tense and we went to your home and they weren't there. I just didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to be rude.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
The building's innards seem to be lit by a series of pale white lights. Venolin, roll me a history check.
Do just a straight history check?
Yep.
That is 12 total.
You vaguely remember lights similar to this in your home, but only as a child. You remember them being used to very well light the upper floors of your home, and it being a somewhat sad event when they finally died and there were none left to replace them, and you having to resort to lanterns and torches.
Okay.
However, this place is absolutely covered in them. There are hundreds, if not thousands of them, lighting pretty much every inch of this place. And the vampires within seem none too disturbed by it. You can only assume that it is, like those, electrically produced light, and that such light does not have an effect on them.
You know, she's just gonna kind of like gently muse to herself as they're walking. There used to be lights that would simulate sunlight.
You could do that?
Yeah. It used to help people when the months were, the nights were longer and the sun didn't shine as long. Ada needed one. So did Jarnik. She just kind of like shakes herself out of her reverie and then just keeps going towards the elevator.
As you guys start walking through, you can see that these people are just as unnerved and somewhat made hostile by your presence as everybody else. However, the fact that you seem to just kind of be casually holding up this vial of blood as you're walking your way down doesn't seem to alleviate that. Rather, the fact that you're being allowed to walk through here at all is kind of unnerving them more. And as you guys reach the far end of the room, where it seems like it looks like 5 of these tall metal doors, one of the guards at those doors kind of approaches you slowly, and it's like, what's going on?
We're here to check on the vestige.
What's coming? He looks genuinely, unnerved, even scared.
Alson.
He kind of looks at you, and then out at the rest of his fellow guards, back at you, and then outside. And without another word, he starts walking towards one of the doors outside.
She's going to continue on the elevator, ignoring everybody else.
You can
Although, keeping the party, near her, but for the most part, just kind of ignoring everybody else.
You can hear a faint thrum of shifting metal as it comes to a stop in front of you, and with a faint bell, opens to you. The carriage itself is more than big enough to hold all 5 of you. It could probably hold 10 of you. All 4 of you, I'm sorry. What am I saying? I'm not you. I'm counting cameras and being like, yeah, there's 5! No. It could very easily hold the 4 of you. And the moment all 4 of you enter, the doors close behind you. It is equally well lit, though this one has a bit of a warmer yellowish light inside. You can see that there is what looks like a lens somewhere at the top of it, looking down on the inside. And the only other adornments you can see are what look like a long black pad on the side of the door that seems to be flashing with a picture of a card.
Put the card there, I think.
I think so. And Fenelon's going to place the card against the reader and see what happens.
The moment you do so, it kind of gives you a faint doo-doo. And the pad shows the number 1 with next to it a kind of slider signaling the 50 floors of this place.
She's going to slide it right over to 50.
Beautiful.
Since he said that it was at the top, the vestige was at the topmost level.
Excuse me, friends. While we are in this elevator, I must ask, do you think it is still wise for me to be in this concealed state? Or shall I get back into my normal form?
Well, to be fair, it was Elson that was looking for him, not the others.
True.
Still think he should be hidden. Just in case.
The moment you take your hand off of the slider, turning it to 50, the elevator begins to rise. And the number begins to rise with it, going to 2, then 3, then 4, then slowly beginning to escalate, while you guys are having this conversation.
Ross will stumble slightly and hold on to any sort of railing if there is.
Yes, there are handrails here. However, Ralakan, as you're about to make your point, you hear a sort of faint static cut through as a speaker begins to blare slightly from right above the pad. and a voice protrudes outwards.
Huh?
Frankly, his concealed form really won't do him much good past this point.
The hell, they have talking walls?
No, Ralakan, I showed you this in the house. They don't work anymore at my house. And she
thought you
points.
were lying.
She points to the circular grate that I'm assuming is underneath the keypad,
Yes.
which is where the speaker is.
Yep.
I thought you
Speaker
were
setup.
lying.
When
And
have I ever
understood.
lied to you?
I don't know if maybe you were pulling my leg or something. I don't know.
Sun's inside, the rooms move, and the walls talk. Okay.
Hello, Valerian. Ralakan. It is good to make your acquaintance.
And the
Assuming
walls
we're
go my
talking to the vestige.
That would be correct. I am the vestige. Master of this area, patron to the High Lord Vedran, and de facto ruler of the Glass Tower.
Your captain's worried about you.
I'm sure he is. The impending arrival of Alzan Karst is disturbing, to say the least. His designs for this place are known to me.
So why haven't you stopped him before?
I am prevented from acting outside of the designs of my own maker.
So you're turned into this immortal being and you can't even do whatever the hell you want?
Agency is in short supply no matter what the time period, young hunter.
While this conversation is happening, Jason gets off Cross's back and goes back into his regular form.
There he is.
Hello?
I've been doing a fair bit of looking for you.
I understand. So has Alzan.
Yes, unfortunately, having made off with quite the trove of my stolen technology.
Dear.
I
Vestige,
am...
what did you want with Jason?
It is less what I want and more what my maker wants. He sent for Jason sometime after he crashed.
Sorry, what did you say the name of his maker was?
He referred to him as the High Lord Vedran. Vedran.
Vedran.
He wishes to return you to the place you came from. And if I can assist in doing such a thing, I will be able to do so.
Understood. If I may ask, where is it that I came from?
Oh, well, I'm sure that you've been able to piece at least some of that together. The Baron Tobin Hudson was promised by our mutual adversary a chance to see what he called the city above.
Yes, that definitely does sound familiar.
Yes, and while some of you, I'm sure, took that in a more biblical sense, it was quite literal. There is a city above the clouds, once belonging to your kind.
Truly fascinating.
Sustained by technologies lost to time, but not to us.
Guys, I do need to be right back. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Not feeling
no
well.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
So, there's really a city just somewhere high above us?
Above the cloud cover, too. Its perpetual levitation is part of what maintains it.
Definitely am curious how such a feat could be maintained. Very marvelous.
At this point, the elevator is just passing 30. It is quite the feat. If the High Lord finds you to be in his favor, then I would assume upon request he could show you.
I see. Did the High Lord ever tell you as to why he wants to retrieve me?
He has, though whether or not I am at liberty to divulge said information is questionable.
Problematic.
Indeed. If I may ask you, do you remember anything prior to your arrival in the town of Banengard?
Unfortunately, I cannot retrieve any sort of memory. I have seen minor visions, or quite frankly, it's hard to explain. When I have encountered the one known as Cassidy, she used this device and holds up the glove, and it put me in a sedentary state. And while there, I felt things. Quite frankly, I didn't know I could. I have seen visions of this particular tower, your name, Alzen's name, and I have felt a state of what one would call anxiety.
Near complete memory corruption. I'll have to update my logs. It seems that the weapons were quite effective.
Indeed. If I may ask, is this glove a making of yours?
One of many, yes.
Fascinating.
And finally, the elevator dings 50. The doors slowly slide open for you as the speaker blares in a female voice, 50th floor.
you.
And you guys are walking into what looks like a massive atrium made underneath what looks like a large glass roof. The roof seems to be segmented into 4 pieces, encircling a sort of square central area in the middle. And in that middle seems to be what looks like a large control panel of sorts. It looks quite similar to the one used to control the very meager camera apparatuses used in Madangard. However, it is significantly wider with a significantly larger range of functions. In front of it seems to be this very large pad. It seems to be circular, about 15 feet in diameter. And across from it sits what almost looks like a rocking chair. There you can see a man, seemingly elven, about 7.5 feet tall, sitting in this chair and what looks like reading a book. Outside, you can see various bits of technology encircling the glass roof. The main things that draw your eye being 4 long antennae on each corner of the building. Sort of pulsing a soft red light into the room and giving the place an eerie, but not necessarily unwelcome hue. As well as a series of different cablings connecting those antennae to one another. The cablings seem to feed into the building and sort of sync up with this control panel and this pad that sit here as well. Wonderful. So good to use my eyes again. It's good to finally meet you. There was an old saying that the camera added 10 pounds, and it is good to know that the rest of you seem quite well fit.
Listen,
Yeah? Yeah, Tim? You okay there?
Did you just call us fat?
No. He specifically said fit.
Yeah. Sorry, my eye caught Maddie's cam, and I was just like watching her silent contemplation. I'm like, did he just say that? And I just couldn't help myself.
He specifically said you guys weren't fat.
Yeah, no, it
And
was
then-
just like, just the way he said it. It's like, did you?
It started
did-
off sounding like an insult.
it did sound like you are surprisingly well fed. But then I saw Spaz do his little flex, and I'm like, oh, fit.
Okay.
We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. We're good.
We're good now.
We're good. Venelin doesn't think this man is insulting us, so we're good.
Great.
Oh boy.
Do you have any other burning questions? It's a strange That's a strange sort of expression. Burning questions. How does a question burn?
Typically, when you light said book on fire.
Set a book on fire.
He kind of holds his book slightly closer to his chest at your mention of it.
She kind of like waves her hand a little bit, like, no. Mayada he'd kill me. if you found out I was burning books.
He does not relax his grip on his book.
That's fine. So you stay up here by yourself all the time?
If your question is if I'm lonely, I assure you that I'm not. He sort of like, he doesn't even really make a motion. He just kind of, you see him blink, and suddenly the four antennae pulse, and projected onto the glass roof are a vast degree of different images. The different fragments with which the glass panes are separated immediately begin to project images of what looks like almost every room in the glass tower. From a large botanical garden to a series of restrooms to what looks like a med bay where they treat the sick guards or the injured. To the garage where a series of other vehicles are. To a series of cameras on the bridge overlooking.
Okay. That's a little bit creepy, but you know what? If it works for you, it works for you.
This is how I keep myself apprised of events. And subsequently, my lord.
So you knew the moment we entered the city?
Quite. I knew where your friend had landed, though I was not capable of seeing his condition. I had no clue whether or not he was in an intact state or not. Verily, not.
I tried.
And I am still on the journey to grow and rebuild myself. Perhaps even better myself.
Should you ever decide to visit the city above and meet my lord, as you would wish, I'm sure you would have access to all the necessary resources to get you back into your intended form. Every so often you see his eyes flutter slightly, as though he's not necessarily looking in any particular direction. You're not sure if it's because he's blind, or because he doesn't need to look in any particular direction in order to see all these things that he's showing you right now.
I mean, that's what happens when you live in your room and you don't rearrange things for some time. You tend to know where everything is at the back of your hand. Like,
It's true. What are you going to do about Vestige? Not Vestige, Alson.
He blinks once again, and the cameras change to overlook another bridge. This one has been destroyed. However, the cameras seem to show the city end of the bridge rather than the island end of the bridge, and a series of tunnels that, stairways that lead into tunnels underneath. Seismic centers indicate that he is 56.27% through digging the tunnel out. He's going to run into quite a significant amount of resistance. That area is yet another stronghold. In fact, quite similarly, if not more fortified than this place. It's not far from another military installation.
Lex.
Now, Lex resides over your side of this bridge here. The secondary bridge stops near what you know as Battery Port. Obviously, it has been destroyed, but there is another tunnel nearby.
Hmm.
Again, destroyed, and inoperable, that one. That one was exposed to, one could say, the elements, that being the river above, and should it ever be attempted to be dug up, the tunnel would almost immediately flood.
Right. So this is fantastic. That doesn't answer my question what you're going to do about Elson.
My projections indicate a 14% chance that he alone, even with the combined forces of the police wing of Madengard, would breach the defenses awaiting on the other side of that tunnel. Even if he could, this place is more than suitably fortified to resist such a small assault.
Huh?
And
And
what happens if he beats the odds and gets to you?
If he beats the odds, he'll have to deal with a second, equally fortified installation, while presumably having taken quite significant, if not total, losses of his non-vampire military force.
and if they were vampires?
Such would imply that he's already converted the entire population of Madengard. Even if he had, his new vampires would not possess the military training, knowledge, and combat skill that the vampires here, with centuries of experience, have.
Mm-hmm. And if he turns a bunch of guards that are skilled in the ability to kill said vampires? How does that factor into your equation?
Projections indicate a 34% chance of breaching the defenses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm gonna stop all this projection stuff, because this sounds like plans, and this is what my mom told me. Plans all go to malarkey when the actual things start. So if you think that you could stop him right at the gate, no ifs, ands, or buts, let me know now. I will just relax. But if there's even the slightest if that he can make it through one defense, we need to go. And we need to deal with him. Yesterday. Apologies, but
The only guaranteed way of stopping his advance to the other side of the tunnel would be to collapse the tunnel from above, exposing it to the river. Alternatively, we could completely destroy the rest of the tunnel from our end, cutting off his ascent significantly and giving him a second barrier to surpass in his bid to enter here.
He has druids who can earth shape. It wouldn't impede him for long.
it would impede him long enough for us to get a good force twice the size of whatever the hell he's packing.
And you would fight against your friends and neighbors, Ralakan?
Well,
Oh,
they're trying to break down everything I love.
oh no.
And I didn't live much in Madengard. I lived in Battery Port.
This is Unforeseen.
I feel like a lot of things must be unforeseen.
I'm receiving a secondary transmission. One moment. This is not good.
The what now?
My secondary facility has gone online.
Oh.
The pad you see here, it's a means of transportation of sorts. Only one other exists, and it is at the secondary installation I mentioned earlier. And it has just been activated.
Oh, good. So this entire thing was a distraction. And we played into his hands. Great, gentlemen.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on.
I fear that taking action to cut them off at the tunnel may not yield fruit. If they manage to break through the collapsed areas, they could navigate the tunnel system directly to the stadium, utilizing that secondary pad to reach the city above. If it's already been activated, I calculate a 87% chance that he has what you would call a mole.
Can I roll an insight check to figure out if it's anybody that we came across?
Roll me an insight check.
That's unfortunate. That's a total of 4.
You are entirely unsure if it's anybody you came across.
To be fair, they were all kind of hostile towards us anyway.
Mm-hmm. You're pretty sure that, like, even if you had a good idea, pretty much every vampire you guys have come across has been hostile, ranging from general dislike to outright desire to consume.
Yep.
A better strategy may be to enter the city and cut them off there. As travel from here to the stadium would take too long. Several hours. Especially during the evacuation procedures.
But you said that this is a teleport, right?
Yes, it's specifically designed to go to the city above or back here.
Well, so, but do they go to the same place then?
They have different destinations, but the destinations are significantly closer to one another in the city than they are here.
So you're proposing that we send someone there and then into wherever they're activating theirs?
It is the fastest method I can devise that would get you to where you need to go before he does.
Okay. I suppose. Vanillin?
Solid enough plan. And if he's using the people of Madengard as a distraction to get where he needs to go,
Given Alzen's centuries of experience and intricate knowledge of this facility and its workings, it would not surprise me if your arrival here was also planned for.
I'm not sure about that one. He may have foreseen us coming here, but I don't think he foresee us making it here and out of here alive.
Granted, your resourcefulness is something that only another human could account for. You get the feeling he's saying that as a compliment.
Yeah, she's not insulted. He's saying human as in somebody who still can die and lives and breathes and bleeds. Yeah, the problem with living as long as you do is you tend to get complacent.
I think my lord would enjoy you.
I'm sure he would. However, we'll have to deal with that another time. What do we have to do to activate these?
I can do it myself. He blinks again, and the pad immediately begins to thrum with electricity. Lights around it immediately begin to illuminate, and you can hear a faint whirring, sort of as though an engine were spinning up.
You know, that's great and all, but how are we supposed to activate it when we get to the other side?
When you get to the other side, you'll be heading into another heavily defended area. My lord is meticulous.
So, if need be, do you think this would be able to help activate? As he holds up the glove.
Undoubtedly. Being one of my inventions and synced up to you, you should be able to operate the other panel. At least enough to get you back down where you need to be.
Wonderful.
Now, but what do we do about the other guards? No offense, but everyone around us seems to be a little jumpy.
That card should be signal enough that you have my permission to be here. As I serve the High Lord directly and do not answer to them, they should see no problem in taking you where you need to go.
Let's hope you're right.
Is there anything you want us to not do? Other than blindly attacking people that... I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Vampire society has become somewhat docile. The city above is not separated by the varying dichotomies with which you would associate the living and the non-living. I would ask that you simply keep an open mind, I suppose. My lord may ask to see you when you arrive. I would advise against it until such time as we can guarantee Alzen's inability to ascend.
Understood.
That we can do.
Is there anything we should know about your lord before we go up there?
He has a morbid fascination, and that fascination is what draws him to you.
Good.
guess the last question all I have is, how do we stop the teleporter when we get there to where Alzen's going?
Hmm.
Just
He finally gets up from his rocking chair, and he sort of walks over to stand in front of Venelin, and he holds out his hand for the card.
She'll hold it out to him.
The moment it hits his hand, you can see a strange interplay of light around the room, as a flash seems to envelop the card for only a brief moment before he sets it back in your hand. In that time period, I would like each of you to roll me a perception check, with the exception of Cross.
11.
$16.
20.
Jason, you can perceive this, as you can perceive things quite quickly. And you see in the middle of this very brief interplay of light as he interacts with the card that Vestige's hand appears to be a wide array of cablings and thin metal chassis. Not unlike your sort of bare bones form.
Very interesting. Your hand, is it by chance an automaton like mine?
Not simply my hand. One moment, guys.
In this case, I will also be right back.
the vampires are listening to a fucking robot.
He was a robot all along.
This is... Is this technology gone too far?
I think this technology has gone too far.
Yeah.
The scientists were so obsessed with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're dealing with a society of
Mechanical vampires?
I mean, we've established that he himself is a robot, but we can't jump to conclusions and think that they're all robots.
I heard they're all robots. All the vampires were cake.
If I bite into... Listen, we're not doing this. I promise you. If I bite into a cheese sandwich and I find out that shit is cake, I'm sending you to God. Like, special carry-out discount. I'm sending you to God.
Special carry-out discount.
10 out of 10.
Shoutouts to Baku.
Is cheesecake a sandwich?
No. It's barely cake.
I'm not doing this.
It's mostly cheese. Okay, hang on a second. Technically, cheesecake is toast.
Stop.
You fucking what, mate?
No, let's not get into this discussion. I know we have to wait for Lucas, but let's not.
All I'm saying is pastry bottom, toppings. Cheesecake is toast.
Alex, no.
Okay, can we get back to the part where this
Can we
guy's a
get back to the
fucking
mecha
robot?
vampires?
We've got literally vampire Skynet.
So Jason, you were saying?
Yes. Oh, not just your hand, but if I may ask, what do you mean? Are you insinuating that the rest of you is an automaton?
He sort of raises his hands and sort of claps twice, and you can see the four antennae immediately dim from their red light. You see the power fade from the varying cables connecting them to the windows, and the interplay of light that surrounds this man ends, revealing his entire being to be what looks like a mass of almost muscle-like cables, tensing and contracting in a very real approximation of a human muscular system.
Nope.
Truly fascinating.
I am Model V7, designation the Vestige.
Interesting.
In case you were curious, you are Model V8.
Well, I've done some research, and so you are 7. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. And as fellows, it is my wish to return you from whence you came. Who's in the fuck?
It's just one of those nights.
You know, they say it don't be like that, but it be like that.
Yep.
One of
Sometimes
those
it just be like
days.
that.
So
We're all in agreement that we're never mentioning anything about cheesecake to that man ever again, correct?
never again. Right,
Yes.
correct.
Absolutely. Never
I'm-
again.
I'm more
Well,
hung up
Can't
on
believe he said cheesecake is toast.
I'm more hung up on the fact that Jason was called V8, and we're talking to V7. How
I
many
can-
more are there?
Well, at least 5 others.
Yep. I know that the V5 was capable of flight. The V4 was that was the start of the weapon resupply unit that I was able to do. And who knows, maybe I could become the new Vestige.
That's a terrifying thought.
That is a terrifying thought.
You
I
want to
think it'd be
become
nice.
you want to become future vampire Skynet?
Yes?
Not gonna lie, sounds kind of dope.
It does sound kind
It
of
does.
dope.
It does sound kind of dope, but it wasn't so goddamn terrifying.
Yeah.
Cupcake being like the Overlord.
Jason would be the best overlord.
You know, we thought Wheatley would make the best Overlord, and then he became it.
Yeah, but you know,
We had a minor case of serious brain damage.
Okay. I'm seriously 100% sure that it's this way. No, it's not this way.
raw and
Please, step on the pad when ready.
Okay, Venolin will step forward.
Beautiful.
As will Jason.
Rao looks very, like, disturbed by all of this, but will step on the pad.
Cross will reluctantly step on the pad. He's going to stay very close to Venolin.
Smart man.
I think we're all on the pad.
Okay, 1 second. I just need to check something quickly.
Okay.
We're heading to a new zone, so he has to load the map.
Yep.
Right? It's just that it's the space loading zone between locations in Destiny.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
The only problem is it's Destiny 1's loading zone with no music and no, like, helpful tips on the screen.
Damn, you really want to just make people hate themselves.
I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
But I want to go to the next zone over, so I have to go and jump off into orbit.
Yep.
Where is it? Where's the thing?
So while the dungeon master is getting everything
Okay.
settled out, okay, never mind.
My apologies.
Are you wearing gloves, Alex?
Yes, unfortunately not of the squeezing variety. You guys are met with a wide ring of blue light enveloping yourselves, as you can feel yourself sort of being gently stretched upwards into the air.
I like it!
The sensation only stays for about a couple of seconds before you can feel yourself being sort of tugged in the opposite direction back to the ground. There is a very faint moment where the air kind of evacuates for a moment. However, it almost immediately returns to you, causing a faint gasp, but, you know, you weren't deprived of air for more than maybe a second.
Did not like all of that.
Fine, just smother yourself in breeding pool essence. You'll be fine.
I very much contemplate on doing just that.
Please don't.
And
If that does help
Just as-
comfort you, I would suggest doing so.
just as Vestige warned, you guys are met with another set of guards brandishing weapons at you.
Just Venolin holds up the key card.
They immediately lower their weapons. This is very much feeling like a series of Mel Brooks scenes. Where just like something happens, the main character does something, and then the something immediately unhappens.
I mean, sometimes things gotta unhappen.
I don't know, fam.
I mean, you're right. But also, but why?
Vestige has apprised us of the situation. To whom am I speaking?
My name is Valerie.
And the rest of... Oh. The guards are kind of immediately taken aback by Jason.
Model V running on Journey script object notation. You can call me JSON.
They seem scared of you.
Are you quite all right? You seem distressed.
Yes, we'll be fine. Where do you need to be?
The other teleporter.
Wonderful. Shouldn't take us too long to reach. It's a straight path up.
Benelin will follow them?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You guys... You guys follow this other set of guards. They take you outside, and they kind of look out at you guys, just like, "Oh, this is your first time seeing the sun, isn't it?" He points to the three of you.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to appreciating it later. We have a job to do.
Yes, and he kind of just like takes a pair of goggles off of his sort of pack and kind of gently tosses it to you, Venelin. He waves over to one of his other guards who does the same to Ralakan, and another who does the same to Cross.
Did we just get given a pair of sunglasses?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah!
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I more love Tim's get up here.
Tim just becomes Daredevil. That's just how it's gotta be.
I just I'm looking down and look up and zoom and just see the kids.
Tim is just Matt Murdock, and I gotta accept it. That's just how it's gotta be.
Wonderful.
Oh, wait, does that make me Karen Page?
No.
No.
Gross.
Wait, no, I'd actually be kind of okay with that.
Okay.
Karen Page, she's a badass.
If we're going by the defenders here,
I don't want to be Jessica Jones.
I don't know. You've spent an awful lot of time harping on about your dead family.
Oh wait, that makes me Frank Castle. Yes, I get to be the Punisher. I'm too excited about this. Can we move on?
Please.
But wait a second. How could he be Daredevil and also Iron Fist?
Nope. Stop. Moving on.
Now I need to know if there's an AU where Matt Murdock is the immortal Iron Fist.
Probably, but anyway, moving on.
Stop! I hate you, Tim. We're gonna get back to this. But in all seriousness. He escorts you guys outside, and the sky is blue. The sky is blue. Ralakan, it almost looks the same color as you. Like you could just stand in it. and just be.
Ral kind of like reaches up to see if he can like touch it, just pawing at the sky.
Venelin, it causes this bright light to just reflect off of your litany of weapons that are just sort of stashed across you. That almost gives you a very like light show looking look as you walk down the street.
Fair enough.
And Jason, you register a strong warmth sort of all over your body as your sensor array kind of like reacts to direct sunlight.
Very fascinating.
And
This is unnatural as to what I'm used to.
as you guys are taking this in, the guard immediately kind of like bangs on something to get your attention, and he has one of the vehicle doors open for you. Just take them to the St. James. They need to be there immediately. As you guys start making your way down, they kind of go. You guys seem to be taking being in a city in the sky full of vampires rather well.
I'm mostly just trying not to think about it.
That's fair.
I can't really tell the difference.
Well, y'all never did me any wrong. I really shouldn't find a reason to care.
Unfortunately, the High Lord is between lives at the moment. Otherwise, we could have him disable the teleporter remotely from the castle.
I'm sorry, did you say between lives?
The rest of the guards in the car kind of chuckle slightly at the culture shock. Yes, he's like that. He has what we'd call a morbid fascination.
So I have heard.
I just don't understand this concept of being between lives.
I'm sure when you meet him, which traveling with him you're very likely to, he kind of nods over to Jason. He'll explain in better detail. Regardless, the trip really doesn't take that long. Maybe 5 minutes in this car. The roads are extremely well paved and mostly empty in this area, as opposed to the very packed nature of the city below.
Does the sunlight not bother you all?
We've had a good several centuries up here. Most of us have rather acclimated to it.
Ah, I see.
Great.
Oh.
We've evolved.
Oh, great. They're learning.
They're learning.
They're doing a thonk. Oh no. Whatever shall you do? I mean, I say that, but these are also vampires who are slowly evolving to no longer be vulnerable to sunlight.
Yeah, that's kind of bad. That's kind of like a big thing about
This is
dealing
what-
with vampires.
This is what cars wanted all along.
At the same time, these vampires are not actively killing humanity.
That we know.
That's another thing that you notice on your drive up here. There are humans up here. There are elves
Oh.
up here. There are people up here. that are, alive and walking around and doing stuff. There are like regular people restaurants where they serve people food. That,
People food, not
isn't blood.
food made from people.
No, not food made from people. Food for people.
To be fair, that was a very valid question.
I can't discount that. You're right. I'm so sorry.
Watch
My
out for
apologies.
anything called Soylent Green. Bad times.
Soylent does not exist in Vampire Utopia.
Utopias are fallacies. Anyway, so we
36
arrive at the stadium.
You guys enter what the guardsmen referred to as the St. James, and it looks like a massive amphitheater. However, standing on the stage is a very similar pad with a control panel lining the edge of it. I expect you to run into some moderate resistance. If Vestige was right, then there's more than likely at least one mole in the stadium.
I thought Allison was the one digging the tunnel.
Tim.
No, that is actually Cross being genuinely confused.
You know what? That's fair. The year is 3756. Some expressions had to have not been passed on. He may not know what we mean by a mole. I love that, like, slow zoom on Lucas's face. Just like, that was a very, you like Krabby Patties, don't use Squidward.
Just remind me tomorrow to beat Mike over the head with something.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Will do.
Always
Y'all
beat
really
Mike
don't like
over.
Mike.
We love Mike, but also fuck Mike.
Mike's the best, but he's also the worst.
Mike is like the best, worst person to ever live.
Something like that.
We appreciate him in our own special way.
With a baseball bat. Don't worry, he likes it. In any case, you guys feel a second stretching feeling, this time going downwards. Followed by another stretching feeling going back upwards as you find yourselves getting back onto another teleporter. This time you guys know to hold your breath. So it's nowhere near as uncomfortable. This one
still like it.
looks like you guys are in a huge stadium. There are thousands of seats lining every square inch of this place. And while you can see several tunnel-like exits outwards, this main area is just, it seems vacant, as though kind of abandoned. It doesn't look like there's anybody here. However, this pad doesn't seem to have a control panel near it. You guys can roll me a perception check.
14.
9.
What was that, Ralph?
17.
Okay.
21.
21? You're stupid. Okay. You guys start looking, and in your case, feeling around, and you can note that, unlike in the last couple of places you've been, the cables connecting this pad seem to run under the floor. You have a feeling that wherever the control panel for this one is, it's somewhere underneath you guys.
Is there a doorway to go down? Or a set of stairs, maybe?
You guys see a series of tunnels. You count 8 leading in all different directions, but all leading down.
Are there any guards anywhere here?
This area specifically looks pretty abandoned. You can see some people at like the very top doing what looks like some light patrol work, but they don't look like they're paying any attention to where you guys are, which is at the very bottom.
Okay.
Given this, you wouldn't be surprised if they weren't really aware of what's going on yet. How dare you? There you go.
Maybe we should have asked Vestige for a map of the place?
Probably.
An astute observation, Cross. Perhaps we can ask one of the guardsmen up there.
I don't know if they're going to hear us. Is there a panel somewhere that I might be able to use to pull up said information?
You start looking around, and you can see a small panel on a desk. It's nowhere near as big as the other control panels, but it does seem like a sort of like tertiary platform that somebody could just like run tests from. It very clearly does not have all the functions.
Right.
However, it does have a pad for you to press the card onto.
Then I will do so.
Yeah, sure. The emblazoned V appears on the pad for a brief moment before giving you a series of options. They are test, enable, disable, and layout.
I'm going to click layout.
The layout immediately appears with a sort of like holographic projection of the place. It looks like something that with a certain apparatus you might be able to move, but it just kind of appears as light for you. It does show that any of these tunnels do lead to the underbelly of this facility, where there is a central control room directly underneath this pad.
Okay.
It also shows what look like several blinking lights throughout these tunnels, which, given their status as moving, you can only assume are guards.
Because they seem to be just patrolling in the same general formation every time.
There seem to be 6 on that upper level. There seem to be another 8 on what you could only describe as kind of a mezzanine. It's not really in this room, but it's on like the outer border of this room. And then there's about a dozen in the underbelly.
Okay. Does this underbelly seem to connect to, say, another series of tunnels that would lead out of the area?
There seems to be one service exit in the underbelly that does lead to a tunnel.
Okay.
However, it is very small and very narrow and very clearly not made for a lot of people.
Right.
It's more of like an emergency exit, it looks like.
Okay. But that would be really good for somebody who is just trying to sneak maybe 1 or 2 people in, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then can I bring the menu back up?
Yeah. There's like a back button. Of course there's a back
Cool.
button.
I would like to bring the menu back up, and then one of the options was disable or enable, wasn't it?
Yes, there is an enable disable.
Cool. I would like to click on that one.
You hit the enable disable, and it comes up as requiring credentials from a Davis or a MacArthur.
Fuck.
However,
Fuck are Davis and MacArthur.
there is a third option that says override.
I'm gonna select override.
You press the card onto the override button, and it immediately flashes with the text, override identity V7. Override accepted. Every light in this room goes out.
Yay.
This place is pitch black. It's dark. It's super duper dark.
So we now know what Cross is like all the time.
Oh no, what a nightmare.
Yeah, you could just hear the, like, faint downward de-escalation of, like, all the power in the place going out. Like, you just threw the circuits.
Yeah.
That's no bueno.
The pad still appears to be operational, and you can hear a faint spinning up in this platform to indicate that it seems to have some kind of, like, backup power.
Okay, which means we gotta go underneath. I would remember where it showed us from before, yeah?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It was not a hard thing to see. Literally any of the 8 passageways that are there have stairs that lead to the underbelly.
Okay, does Jason have dark vision?
I do not.
Does Ralakan?
Pretty sure he don't.
I am pretty sure that the only 2 members of this party who have dark vision are Cross and Venelin, and Cross can't see.
But he's used to stumbling around in the dark.
Adapted the dark. He uses sonar.
Jason,
Hello.
can you possibly produce a little bit of light?
I don't see why not. Alex,
Yes.
can I brighten my lights a little bit?
You kind of, like, focus a bit of extra power on your, like, central eye, and it emits a dim light.
Enough that Ralakan and Jason would be able to see?
Yeah, you guys have, like, 15 feet of dim light in front of Jason.
Okay,
There, Ralakan.
now you guys can see.
Yay.
That's not going to come back to bite me in the ass.
Yeah, just wait until we find out where those sun lamps are and we just hook it up into Jason. Solar radiation laser beam.
You don't need to turn Jason into Stroheim.
German engineering, though.
German engineering is the best in the world. German science is the best in the world. I'm not gonna get banned on Twitch by doing the thing. Smokey.
Let's...
I'm sorry, we're a bunch of weebs.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, Japan just put out a full-scale Gundam that's operational.
I'm not gonna lie to you. it would not surprise me in the slightest if that like 1-to-1 scale Gundam statue in Shibuya is actually operational. If that thing's
It
like
is.
a last.
It lights up and transforms. I have been there.
No. I think that thing is weapons capable. I think that thing
I
is
wouldn't be
like.
surprised.
I would not be surprised if that thing was a genuine weapon.
Weaponized? I don't know.
I would not be surprised if that was a fully weapons capable RX-7802.
Okay.
In all seriousness, though, back here.
I guess we'll just have to be really careful.
Yep. Although, I will admit that careful's not really in our vocabulary.
What's vocabulary? Very much joking here.
Okay. I'm like, I don't think
Very
Relic
much
can't
I
wait,
was-
that's stupid.
Jason was about to give you the dictionary definition of vocabulary.
I'm
Yeah, like Jason has the last known edition of Merriam-Webster's somewhere in his memory banks.
very much joking.
Merriam-Webster's a
For its
vampire,
chickens.
guys.
It would not surprise me.
Merriam-Webster's a vampire, and she just lives in the library.
Again, would not surprise me in the slightest.
So, which way do we go?
Down into the tunnels.
You guys head down into the tunnels. Cue the music from Lion King 1.5. I'm glad
I
one
love
of you
that
got
song.
Oh,
I love the tunnel song.
that. Yeah, the
What
tunnel
was that?
song's great. Quick before the hyena come.
Dick! You brought this upon yourself.
I love that song. It's like, ooh. It's funky. It's funky.
And people say that the direct-to-DVD sequels were bad.
Some of them were.
Okay,
Some
let's
of them
be
were
honest.
a lot of them were.
are. Like, The Lion King 1.5 is a rare gem. In any case, you guys head down to the tunnels and into the underbelly, and you can almost immediately see the guards kind of like scrambling. They seem to have like goggles that enable them to see. However, none of them have any fucking idea what's going on. So they see you, and it is immediately... Who goes there?
Of course it is.
I mean, the lights all went out, and suddenly there's a bunch of fleshy people showing up.
Yeah.
You pull
Wait,
out the
they
card.
can't. Wait. They can't see in the dark.
They're vampires. What do you mean they can't see in the dark? Hold up.
They have dark vision, but it's like not perfect. Also, they have shit from Vestige.
And to be fair, these could be humans.
True. Okay. Let's. Well, diplomacy worked before. Maybe it'll work again. And if not, we punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Understood.
Okay.
So what are we doing?
Flashing the card thing?
Vestige sent living people.
Well, I kind of poke Jason. He's like, not exactly alive here.
They give a similarly horrified look to Jason that he got upstairs.
Hello.
You're not entirely sure why all of these vampires, who very clearly know who he is, are so scared of him.
All I know is I'm enjoying their reactions. Like an asshole that I am.
Given the fact that he
you've
seems to be
seen-
some sort of database, I could only imagine that he's the robot that enforces the overdue library books. And considering that they're vampires,
Fucking
those are some
goddamn.
pretty overdue books.
You all seem distraught. Is there
Vampire
anything I can help you with?
Merriam-Webster would be disappointed in you.
Oh!
Yeah, Vestige sent us.
Are they here already?
He suspects that some people might be moles.
We have to check the control panel room.
The control panel here, according to Venelin, it said something about MacArthur and someone else.
Yes, he's one of the people in charge of the facility. Him and Davis.
Yeah, I think that was the second name. Or at least on the panel that when we were at the teleportation pad, I guess? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Let's go. And they start leading you to the control panel room. And they open it up, and it is a scene in here. There are a whole lot of dead bodies.
Oh
in
dear.
various states of mutilation, from stab wounds to straight up dismemberment.
Oh.
One of the bodies, sort of sitting slumped by the door, is wearing what looks like a captain's uniform. While another man in a captain's uniform is standing silently in front of the control panel. My apologies, guys.
You
No,
right.
that's fine. Pausing for dramatic effect.
Part of me wants to wait for Maddie to get back, but now I can't make the joke about our sponsor, AK Racing Gaming Chairs.
We can make our we can have our sponsor to be Dark Void of the Abyss over here.
If you
We'd
ever
like
look
to
for the sun, you can always go look for it in the abyss.
The Abyss is my favorite place to scream into whenever I'm frustrated.
Just don't stare at it. One asshole tried in the
Don't call
staring
this
at
number.
it.
One asshole tried to in the late 1800s. Once. Don't you love really niche jokes?
Yeah. So, I got my mom made me burgers for dinner,
It's nice.
and she gave me some soda. Now, normally, this wouldn't be anything that I'd have to be. I wouldn't comment on this, but I'm allergic to corn syrup.
Is there anything that you're not
That's
allergic
not
to?
nice.
Turkey, fish.
Death?
I'm slightly allergic to death, okay? Only slightly.
You just get a mild reaction for about 2 seconds, and then it's over.
But yeah. Bro, a whole can of Sprite, not even realizing creature!
Hello, creature.
Hello.
You are a meow meow.
One of the best.
I'm just picturing the up is not jump sync sound effects. Put me down, human.
Oh, he is
It's
definitely saying that.
like
Yep.
this.
And there he goes.
Off to consume more souls.
That's my
Kashyyyk
creature.
is hungry for your flesh. We almost had Maddie back, but apparently she wanted more snacks. So you know what? I'm gonna take this opportunity to take you guys with me into the kitchen now.
It has been a
'Cause I
while
need
since
to
I've fed
refill my
creature
water.
more human souls.
You know, I gotta say, this whole thing with what's been going on this session happening a lot better than I thought it was gonna go, and a lot differently than I thought it was gonna go.
You're
Oh
welcome.
yeah.
I needed to change things up.
This is. Congratulations. I have no idea where the hell we are going now.
You've been here before.
I've been here before, but again, it's
Not like this.
It's new. It's exciting. I like it.
Going to
In
Flavor
fact,
Town,
I kind
baby.
of prefer it to what happened before.
My mom baked cookies, and she's counting how many she baked. Someone help.
Well, it's very simple. It's so you don't go eating them all.
But I want to eat them all. I want diabetes.
Spaz, you're already allergic to half the periodic table. You don't need diabetes on top of that.
You want to try that again, Alex? Half the periodic table?
Yes. You are allergic to 8 of the 9 of the Brady Bunch. You don't need diabetes.
Oh no! I've got nothing. Man said I'm allergic to 8 of the 9 of the Brady Bunch.
You are allergic to the 4 out of 5 dentists that agree that Colgate is the best toothpaste for your teeth.
There's maybe she took out the contacts.
Oh no!
Welcome back.
Thank you.
We got a problem.
Big one.
It seems that one of the 2 captains of this facility, you're not sure if it's Davis or MacArthur, was the mole. And he has killed a startling number of other vampires. And
Go ahead and
Just
describe the room.
diagnosed them. He's secretly a doctor and just diagnosed them with dead.
he is seeming... The only one that seems to be in any state of not dead is the other captain, who's slumped over next to the door, kind of breathing very raggedly.
Okay. Did we check to see if he's got a name tag or an identifying something?
You can check that, and you find that he is named Davis.
So it's MacArthur. MacArthur's the goddamn mole.
Or wait, is Davis the one on the ground or the
Davis
one
is the one on the ground.
Okay. Edgar is the one in the hole.
If that's how you need to say it.
Venelin is going to crouch in front of Davis and
inquire as to how she can help get him back on his feet.
He's got this very wide-looking triangular wound in his chest. It looks like it was made by a very old weapon. You definitely know from your parents that, triangular-shaped blades have not been used in more than centuries because of their extreme cruelty and difficulty in terms of repair.
So this was MacArthur under Alson's orders then, or it was Alson himself.
It could very well be MacArthur under Alson's orders. The vampires do have access to a startling array of weaponry and other sorts of thingy-maboobers. You hear an alarm begin to sound, but MacArthur almost immediately silences it. Whatever it is, he seems unfazed by it.
Where is MacArthur?
MacArthur is standing on the other side of the room in front of the control panel.
And we're over by Davis.
Yep.
Okay, so I still want an answer to my question about what I can do to help Davis get back to his feet. I.e., does he need fresh blood? Like, what the fuck
he's
does
gonna
he need?
he's gonna need to heal, and he needs fresh blood to do that.
Cool. Venolin's not. She is not going to consider this longer than a second. And she is going to just shove her sleeve up to her elbow and draw her dagger.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Takes another 2 seconds to consider before she makes a shallow cut on her wrist and offers it to him.
He examines the wound for a brief few seconds, hungrily. However, he manages to compose himself and allows the blood to drip slowly from the wound into his mouth, rather than doing a bite thing.
Nom 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 nom.
Yeah, not doing that. As he partakes in it, you can see the wound almost immediately beginning to close. It was quite wide, so you can actually see his, insides starting to sort of reseal themselves together.
Knit themselves back together.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. It's, quite grotesque. I don't think I need to say that. It's not a good look.
Juicy.
Yeah, let's say that. Let's go with that. It ain't good.
Feeling better, Captain?
Slightly. And he
Good.
gets up holding his chest. He's like, the rest of them are beyond saving.
Yeah, and I don't have enough blood in my system for that anyway.
He reallocated the facility's defenses away from the tunnels. And without the communications array up, I can't relocate them. I'm scared we may need to destroy this thing.
Well, that's what we're here for.
What was that alarm he just silenced?
Most likely the proximity alarm. More than likely, someone is close.
Right. So we should probably get him away from that control panel.
Most likely. He's not going to be an easy one to kill.
Maybe tell what you need to the guards that let us down here, and maybe they could spread word throughout the facility.
Let them know to initiate lockdown procedures, particularly the ones in the upper level on the mezzanine. They have lockdown controls up there that they can use to seal the building, so nothing gets out. Once he's dead, we can use the backup power to send you back up, and then I'll do what I have to do with this thing. Does that sound like a plan?
Understood.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure the High Lord's going to be quite keen to see one of you.
So we've been told, but we gotta deal with this issue first.
Of course.
Alright, well, I guess MacArthur's our first problem.
You've been working with MacArthur for a while now, I would assume.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely avoid his weapons. They're designed to maim more than kill. He's a sadistic one, let's say.
Well, I will do my best to keep the rest of you out of harm's way, as I have yet to feel pain.
That's good, 8. We'll need that. You guys will have 1 attack.
So, surprise round? Yes or no?
Yes.
Alright.
Am I able to go into rage, or should I do that after the surprise?
I will allow it.
Will I be able to use my astral arms?
As it requires a bonus action to do, I will allow it.
Okay. How far is he from me?
The room itself is about 40 feet in diameter, so you guys have just entered the room, so about 30 feet.
Alright, perfect.
Okay.
So that is a 22 with my silver hand axe.
Okay. Give me that hot and spicy damage.
Ooh. And is 10 plus the 2 to rage, so that's 12 damage.
That is a 16 with the longbow.
That is a not hit.
Damn!
With advantage, Spaz?
Oh, that was with advantage.
Yeah, it's a surprise round.
Oh! Yeah, there it is! There's a 20!
Is that a nat 20?
That's a nat 20!
There we
Yeah.
7 to hit.
That's more like
You're
it.
welcome.
Thank you for reminding me. That is 7 damage and ensnaring strike.
Yeah, hit him with it.
6, and now he needs to.
He'll have to.
Yeah. Strength saving throw of 11.
That is a 19.
Yike. One day I'll actually ensnare somebody. One day.
I mean, one day you'll have the wisdom to back up your, shit.
One day.
Yep. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. That's gonna work.
With the rapier,
Yup.
and I get sneak attack. Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
12, 24. What was your damage, Spaz?
7 plus 6.
13.
Okay, so 2d6. That's 6 and 3 is 9 plus 8 for 17 points of damage
Okay.
with a silvered rapier courtesy of Jason.
That's gonna hurt some peeps. That's 34, 24, 13. And what do we got? Cross.
25 to hit?
That's hitting.
Tim, was that a nat 20?
No,
Yike.
that was a 19.
Fuck.
Oof. Y'all are getting lucky today.
That's 7 times 2 because of radiant damage. 14.
Oh yeah, that's radiant damage. That's radiant damage.
Got 2 attacks from silver weapons, one being a backstab, some radiant damage, and some fishman bow arrows.
Can't discredit the fishman arrows.
Never discredit the fishman arrows. We could never. Couldn't be me.
Fish. Supreme beings.
Yeah,
Fish.
keep believing that, Spaz.
Damn.
Birds are still going to be better hunters than you, no matter what you try and do.
You wanna
I don't
run that
know.
by me
As-
again?
As a fishman hunter in another campaign, fishman does some pretty good hunting.
Okay. You guys all lay into this man with your varying degrees of silvered weaponry. And, oh boy, do you guys do a big stabby. The last thing Davis expected when you guys ran up on him was that you guys would have an array of silvered weapons to hit him with. Because this guy did all of this to all of these vampires without any of that stuff. And you guys were not expected to have any of that shit.
Well, surprise, bitch.
Wow. Okay. He kind of looks out at you guys, and he is bloodthirsty. He is very much that. You're pretty sure that this is somebody turned by Alzin, and thereby compelled to follow him. And at this point, I would like for everybody to roll for initiative. This is going to be a short one.
14.
Okay. That's a 20. Not in that.
The roll bit rolled a 20.
23.
Uh-huh.
9.
Wow, he's going last. He's probably dead. This is going to be a fast one. I'm kind of mad about it, but it's fine.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. Cross, I believe it is your go first.
Okay. Now, considering that his back is probably to the console at this point,
Yeah.
there is no flanking this guy whatsoever.
Not
We
likely.
can get him from the sides. Like, just because his back's to the console doesn't mean that we can't flank him from the sides.
True.
You know, Velociraptor style.
The fuck's a velociraptor?
No, I don't want to hear it. Spaz has fucking duct tape. Okay? Everyone's allowed to know what a Velociraptor is.
Okay.
I love how
so
that's the thing that everyone gets mad at me for
Cross-
having now. The last usable roll of duct tape.
Sorry, Tim.
Cross will move slightly to the side and we'll start laying into the sky.
Do it.
.21 to hit.
That's a hit.
Giving them the old razzmatazz.
That is 12 points of radiant damage.
Amazing. At this point, given your various hits on him, you can see that his armor is already kind of tattered, and your fist just lands real squarely in his gut.
I am spending a key point.
Flurry,
Yeah.
do it. Do it. Give him the aura.
Dun dun dun
Dun,
dun.
dun, 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 dun.
Fucking JoJo weebs, man.
I don't know what you want from us.
Actual 20?
What?
Tim, yes.
And you ask why the JoJo? Look at him.
It's a good luck charm.
All you gotta do is play the piano and the nat 20s roll themselves. Give me that hot and spicy damage roll, my dude.
That is a 11 times 2,
That's
22.
22. Yeah. Do me a favor, roll another one. You get 2 unarmed strikes as that bonus action.
Okay. That's going to be a 20 to hit.
Unnatural, but still hidden.
Judas Priest.
Give me damage.
Right.
7 to 14.
God damn. That's 36 points of damage. I hate to say that this is a 7-page Muda moment, but like, y'all are really gonna yeet this man into a garbage truck.
I'm into it.
I mean, look,
Very into it.
I don't know who Davis is right now, but he seems like a good man despite being a vampire, and he got stabbed in the chest. So
And the back.
And the back. So, vengeance.
Shot through the heart. Okay.
Stop.
Oh yeah, no, this
Not
is
trying to
Twitch.
get
Shit.
DMCA'd
No,
into
hang
outer
on,
space.
hang on. No, that ain't nothing. We ain't trying to have no trouble with the Twitch ninjas. Look at Tim ducking. That won't save you from Blizzard.
Wait.
Come on, it was just a heated Hearthstone esports gaming moment.
Oh my Christ. Moving
Woof.
on.
Yes.
So, yeah, as this is occurring, everyone could briefly, for a flash of a moment, see what sort of resembles just like what almost appears to be sort of like claws just ripping into him.
And this is the first time any of you are seeing Cross's astral form. And, Madeline, it becomes very, very clear that, Baron Hudson did not fall out a window.
Yes, he did.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. He definitely fell out a window. He'd fall out a window.
Look, I know that. Venelin is coming to that same conclusion, but as far as she's concerned, he fell out the fucking window.
Oh,
Because it's safer for everybody to believe the lie.
I know nothing. I was just a barrel of laundry.
He was a boom boy.
Pay no attention to the strange blind elf child you found in the woods,
Boom boys.
who just happens to be incredibly efficient at killing vampires.
Man, you couldn't build a more anime protagonist.
Anyway, moving on, please.
Of course. This man is, not good. He straight up just falls to his knees in front of y'all. He is bleeding, burning, and searing. You can hear crackling flesh from his astral fists impacting the sky. Like, you have effectively barbecued this man with your fists. He's still alive, but just barely.
Whose turn is it next?
That would be... Yeah, that would be Lucas. That would be Jason.
Shit. Because our man's raging.
Yes, I am the raging Cajun. No.
You're rage against the machine. Did I?
Just silvered Mardi Gras beads everywhere.
That's going
Are
to
you
be my
using,
Christmas character, Alex. But anywho,
I don't know what's coming next, but all I know is it's gonna be spicy.
preparing to separate on life from the body.
Shing.
Please make peace with what you have. And let's see if I can actually land anything. Whoops.
Do it.
Wrong roll.
Do it. I believe in you.
This is not with advantage, is it?
I believe you do have friends, so no. Nope,
Oh.
you are not directly... There is nobody directly on the other side, so unfortunately, no, you cannot.
Then chances are I do not hit him with either of my hand axes, because that's how the cookie crumbles. Because that was a 13 and a 12.
Nope, unfortunate. Ral, what'd you roll?
I believe I rolled a 16 for
Then
initiative.
it's
Oh, no, 14.
you.
No, 14 I rolled, sorry.
It is your turn then.
I'd like to give him a chance to surrender.
He's on his knees. He's not even holding his weapon anymore.
I'm going to draw a rune on him.
In his own blood?
In his own blood, in 30 minutes, he himself will become a 20-meter 2d6 radiant explosion.
Damn.
Wow.
Killer Queen has already touched that vampire.
Damn.
What's he gonna do? He's gonna yell Josuke when he fucking dies?
I gave him 30 minutes.
You gave
can
him a
talk, and
Shigechi's
I
honor.
can undo the rune, and maybe, possibly, let him live so that Valerie can kill him instead. Or he could just make peace.
Take 30 minutes to make peace with his makers.
Oh, did I say 30 minutes? I meant 3.
You did say 30.
Oh.
I meant 3.
Does Ralakan know how to count?
Do I have a what now?
Do you know how to count?
Yes, I know how to count.
He knows how to
One
count.
fish, 2 di-
He knows how to count up to however many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop.
You know that it's 1, right? Because you just bite the damn thing open.
He's got like 3 rows of teeth. He bites the damn thing open. He licks once, says this is boring, and bites.
364. That's how many licks.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I keep distracting us. I'm so sorry.
It's
That
fine.
is fine.
We were
You made
JoJo
me look
memeing
it up.
until a minute ago.
I'm more guilty. So
So you've drawn a rune, and you're like, what are you asking him? Like, you're giving him demands? What are you doing, Ralph?
I'm basically saying, is there anything you want to let us know about Alzin's plans? It'll make the death painless.
He says nothing. He is a snarling, almost drooling mass of anger and vampiric hunger. Not sated by your damage.
Well, I tried.
Alex, would you say that he's going feral?
You would say that he had gone feral some time ago, given the amount of bodies in this room. But,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I am, in that case, Spaz, are you done with your
Yeah.
posturing?
Yeah.
Posturing.
Okay. And he's just kneeling there.
Yep. Weapons at his side. Not doing a thing.
Would we quantify him as prone?
Sure.
Cool. Perfect. So here's what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to kick him really onto his back,
Huh?
and then I am just gonna shove my rapier through his throat.
Kinky.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
And yeah, we're gonna go with that. You guys watch Venolin as she kicks this feral vampire onto his back. And what's that roll?
That's a 19 to hit.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And you just stick your rapier into his throat, and you just
Total 11 points of silver damage.
yeah, no, don't worry about it. You just kind of like jiggle your rapier around in there until the burn gets so bad that his head just kind of starts coming off of his neck.
Oh.
He is very, very, very dead.
I kind of just brush the rune off so that we're not caught in an explosion.
You people, get back upstairs to the pad.
Are you gonna be okay?
Alzin's going to know pretty quickly that McGarth is dead. Least I can do is permanently disable this thing until Vedran comes back. When Vedran comes back, he can re-enable it himself.
As Jason is transforming back into his little tiny form, he just accepts, just understood.
Love that. We love that.
Everything about that.
That's great. Love that. Never get tired of that. And are you going to heed his instructions?
I guess so.
Of course.
I have several questions, but I don't think we have time to answer them.
I will allow you to ask one.
Are you going to raise the alarm and let the others know?
As soon as I can get the power back up, yes.
Okay.
Once power is restored to the rest of the building, I'll sound the alarm. For now, I've only got enough power to send you guys through a jump.
Alright. Come on, guys, let's go.
Okay.
And Venolin is just going to grab Cross's hand to help guide him so
As you guys are
to not stumble through the dark.
Run!
Run, bitch! Run!
Run like you just dropped a bunch of nukes.
I mean, I could have.
Oh, great
Just throw a
references.
glacier nade in front of the door.
I don't know.
You're a dick for doing that.
I
The way that
love
my brother
it.
fellow's just kind of like dust in the wind right now. You think we kind of just stepped
You
in and dropped
guys-
a nuke on him?
Book it for the teleporter. And you guys make it out. And the last thing you see before you hear the alarm sound is that flash of blue light once again. As you guys make your way down. Or up, rather. You guys find yourselves back in the St. James. And unlike last time, the place seems entirely empty. Save for a man. He stands about 7 feet tall, and he seems to be wearing this long, regal robe. It doesn't do much to dissuade from the fact that he is wearing a suit beneath it, but it very does seem like the kind of ostentatious thing that somebody with a lot of power and time would wear. He is very clearly a vampire, and he just generally has this air of not necessarily disinterest, but almost a disillusionment. As though nothing has genuinely surprised this man in a very long time, until he looks upon the four of you. I take it Alzan is dealt with, then.
Not quite.
Regardless, I doubt you'd have come up here if you hadn't taken steps to ensure that his efforts would remain fruitless.
That we did.
Good. I wish not to reunite with that man now, nor any time soon.
Vedran,
I assume?
He gently bows before the name being spoken. Indeed. I bid you welcome to my domain. It is a peaceful place, and I ask that you keep it.
Oh,
Oh, whoops.
you just Zoom. There you go. Say, you just need to just whatever you did to your Zoom call.
Yeah, no. I had it maximized, which is why I didn't see your thing. Can I trust you with that, Madeline Donda?
Well, I just rescued one of your captains down below, so you tell me.
In that case, and he waves for you to follow him outside of the theater. As you guys, finally with a moment's reprieve, start to take in the sprawling metropolis, the bright blue sky, and the sunlight cast over this place. Welcome to New Manhattan. And that is where we're going to keep things for now. We will be returning in 3 weeks. We're taking a 2-week break for Christmas, correct?
Yeah, so we won't play on the 26th of the 2nd. We'll be back on the 9th of January.
In 3 weeks. With Act 2. You guys are level 5.
Yay!
Wonderful.
Gonna get that done right now.
And in 3 weeks, you guys will learn about the truth behind the siege of Manhattan Island. And for now, that's where we're going to cut things off. As always, we'd like to thank our sponsors. First of all, D and D Beyond. That is D, the letter N, D, Beyond, no bed, no bath.com. A massive repository for all things 5e, including a sprawling homebrew compendium provided a small subscription fee, as well as Lucky Dice Cafe and Liquor Express. Should you find yourselves in Huntsville, Alabama area and find yourself in need of a good time on a tabletop, please visit one of those 2 locations where you can book a live show with our head DM, Heath, who, coincidentally, won't be running the Troubleshooters next week, unfortunately. So I'll just go through our stream schedule, which will resume again in 3 weeks. On Mondays, our head DM Heath runs the Troubleshooters, a wonderful little campaign set in the roaring 20s. Vampire the Masquerade just wrapped up, didn't it?
It did. We have a
did just
brand new
wrap
game
up.
coming to you on Tuesday nights. I literally
Okay.
have no idea what they're doing.
Wonderful. Who knows?
Not me!
You're the content manager. Aren't you supposed to know what the content is?
Yeah.
Ah!
I've been a little bit busy with school.
How
and
about
whatnot, so I'm just not
Monster? How about Monster of the Week? Is Monster of the Week still a thing?
Yeah. We'll be back with Monster of the Week. I think we're coming back in the new year with what was supposed to be our Christmas one shot,
No,
where you'll get to see me play the professional
Ooh, oh baby.
instead of the monster fucker.
And on Thursdays, you will see Maddie, our sweet, glorious leader here, running Descent into Avernus. Where are we at with that?
They're just getting to the Bleeding Citadel.
Oh my.
Shit's about to get whack.
Friday will be our usual day for R&R, and we will be back Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, for the Stolen Cities, as we go into the second act of our little journey into a slightly less small world. The party's not in Kansas anymore. As always, you guys, wash your hands, wear a mask, be kind to one another, and roar for initiative. Good evening.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas to all.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays to all.
Merry
Happy
Christmas,
Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
Merry Crimbo.
What the DM said.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
end of 2020.
Happy Chrysler. Happy end of 2020.
Get the fuck
Why
outta
do I
here,
hear
my
boss
guy.
music?